Hello hunters, and welcome back to my story. Let's begin part 15, the best part. Gear and Kevin return home, and Hans and Sam head back to Mountain Foot Village, after being told about what might go down in 6 months. Akira wonders if he'll ever see his father again, because he just said that he'll return home and think about coming to Earth. He heads home. Hikage and Hikari head home too, and plan to train for 5 months, visit Planet Flora, and then come back. Akka and Alexis return to the castle and relax, and Stry returns home and hears about what Shelia did. Lee goes to his new home with Michelle, and he gets relaxed there quickly. Stry tells Shelia that he won the tournament, and she's very proud of him. Akka, Alexis, Lee, Kevin, and Gear also tell the others about the tournament. Jay returns home, now alongside Curtis. Sarah's very happy to see him again because she never thought she would. Jay tells her about the tournament. 5 months pass, and Hikage and Hikari leave the planet and go to Planet Flora. Everyone greets them, and they're treated like kings. Rose and Lily told everyone about them, and said great things about them. Rose and Lily are very popular, not only because they're the strongest fighters on the planet, but they're also both daughters of the planet's queen, Lotus. She tells Hikage and Hikari everything that Rose and Lily said about them. They said that Hikage and Hikari are brave, strong, kind, and compassionate young men who will fight and die for their friends, and that Hikage was Rose's future husband and that Hikari was Lily's future husband. They both thank them for their compliments, and Hikage asks why they have started such a big ceremony, and Lotus says that it's for their royal weddings. On Planet Flora, female flowerlings choose their husbands and marry them right away, so Rose and Lily wanted to marry Hikage and Hikari right when they got here. Naturally, they're shocked by this because on Earth people tend to take things slowly. Then he asks if there's anything else about this that he needs to know, and she says that every couple goes on a 1-month-long honeymoon after marriage. As the two know everything they need to know and they trust the flowerlings, they decide to get married. A few days later, they all go off on their honeymoon. 1 month later, the honeymoon is over, and Hikage and Hikari are staying with their wives back in the royal palace. Outside of Planet Flora, however, things aren't going so well. Spirit has contacted the Chimeras. He couldn't locate the Spriggan within 6 months. All 9 of them have very strong magic power, so Spirit will need all the help he can get, which is why he called them up. Roshan stations someone who they can easily contact at Eladin's Fountain of Wishes, and leaves everyone else in the city in case things go south. And he follows Spirit to Earth alone. Once Spirit enters the solar system Earth is in, he's able to contact all the Alliance on Earth. He tells them the news, and everyone says they're ready, except for Hikage and Hikari, who aren't there. They're still relaxing on Planet Flora. Now they have to go to war without 2 of their best, which throws Spirit's plan completely off the rails. He says he'll land in front of the castle, and wants everyone to meet him there. Spirit and Roshan arrive, and everyone else is there. They enter the castle to discuss their plans, but before they can talk, they hear an explosion. A soldier comes in and says that the city's northern watchtower has been taken down. Akka goes outside and stands on the city's wall. Then he sees the same airship that Gear once piloted. He tries to sense who's piloting it, and he feels some intense pressure greater than Magi's magic power. It's one of the Spriggan. Another blast fires towards the castle, and Akka stops it with his own blast. The ship gets destroyed after Akka wins the struggle, but the Spriggan was somehow able to get himself and all of his men off the ship. Strangely enough, his group is comprised of dark spirit grunts as well as humans. Then the Spriggan teleports up and knocks Akka off the wall. Then he introduces himself. He's Dragot, the strongest Spriggan. His magic power is said to be only surpassed by the evil King Zephyr. He says that there are 10 Spriggan in all. He is one of them. 8 of them serve him, and the other is a traitor who refuses to help them. Magi. Then he says to stay out of his and Zeus's way, because their empire is unstoppable. Before Akka can ask who Zeus is, Dragot leaves. Then Akka goes back inside the castle, but before he can tell everyone what happened, someone wearing a royal outfit walks in. Jerry instantly recognizes him. He is King Zeus, leader of the country on the other side of the mountain, Zuso. A long time ago, when Akka and all the other young adults there were very little, his Zuso Empire declared war on the Cherokee Empire. It was a fierce war, and also the same one where Shelia's father was killed. This war spread across both countries, and is why most of the land of Zuso is only wastelands now, and why there are no cities outside of the capital in Cherokee. There were many casualties on both sides, but Cherokee won because his army completely guarded the capital city by Jerry's order, and because of support from Curtis, Enzo, Hikage, and Hikari. In the end, the Zuso army retreated and used the Fountain of Wishes to put a wall of massive mountains on the barrier between the 2 countries. The fountain exists on their territory, and they recorded every time it was used by an outsider. Now Zeus and his army have returned. Zeus is the reason why those 9 Spriggan have betrayed Spirit in the first place, because he promised them unlimited power and eternal life if they killed Spirit and his friends. This is why they've continued on Project Goo and trained to vastly increase their magic power. Now they're going to start another war, the second Cherokee-Zuso War. Then Sam steps in and tells the rest of the story. Zeus originally snuck into the country and passed himself off as a normal, kind citizen so he could learn about the land of Cherokee and the kingdom's weaknesses. He lived far away from the capital, in the village of Mountainfoot. At the same time that he moved in, Sam had recently arrived on Earth, and had just come down the mountain after placing the Secrets of the Universe book up there. Sam couldn't leave the planet and had nowhere to go, and he was at a very young age at the time. So he had no idea what to do. Just then, Zeus found him and took him in, and he kept him healthy. Over the years, he met a woman, she fell in love with him, they got married, and they had a kid. That kid's name was Hans. When Hans was still a kid, Zeus revealed his true identity and started the war. During the war, Hans' mother was killed, and after the war, Zeus fled with his army, so Sam was left to raise Hans by himself. This is why Hans doesn't remember his parents. Hans is very angry at Zeus and says he'll never call him his father, to which Zeus replies that the feeling's mutual. And then he says that he planned to bring him to his country and take him under his wing, but he had no idea if he was still alive, so he didn't bother. Then Hans tries to punch Zeus, but a barrier appears around him. It's tied to the life force of all of his soldiers, so they have to be defeated for anyone to even lay a finger on him. Then he says that him and his entire army are stronger than ever thanks to the Fountain of Wishes, and the weapons provided by the 9th Spriggan. Then Zeus says that he's going to negotiate with Jerry. Then the two disappear. Now everyone knows what they're up against it. Zeus and his army, as well as the 9th Spriggan and their rebellion, who are trying to unleash a new version of Goo. They discuss a new plan to deal with this threat, but first Hans tells him that he's found out the secret that the lab in the Dark Castle was mentioning. There's a temple in the Zuso region that holds an ultimate weapon developed by Zeus's ancestors, and is capable of destroying anything supposedly. This temple is in the ruined Zuso castle, and goes underground. You need a certain key to get in there, and the key's been split into 3 pieces. Those pieces are also in different temples throughout the land of Zuso. One temple is in a forest, another is in the sky, and the other is in a canyon. Hans suspects that the Spriggan may be after this weapon as well, since the Dark Spirits knew about it, so he suggests that 3 people get those key pieces before the Spriggan can. That's when Spirit devises his new plan. Him, Atka, and Gear will go to the 3 temples and prevent the Spriggan from taking the ultimate weapon. Stride, Lee, Curtis, Akiro, Jay, Roshan, and Alexis will spread out across the 2 kingdoms to find and defeat the more powerful enemies at Zeus' side. Everyone else will split up and station in the various towns and villages to protect them, except for Shelia, who will stay and lead the royal army as they protect Cherokee City. The team heading to the temples is Team A, the team fighting the powerful opponents is Team B, and the team protecting the towns and villages is Team C, and Shelia the royal army is Team D. Before they leave, Alexis asks Atka to meet her in her bedroom. They both go in there alone, and Alexis tells Atka that she's scared, and doesn't know what to do, and needs his help. Then Atka comforts her and tells her that he knows how she feels. He's scared too, but he keeps going, because true bravery means to face your fears and conquer them. She thanks him for comforting her, and then they hug and leave the room. Now everyone's ready, and they head out. Team A and B both cross the border, and they're met by another group of grunts and humans, this time led by the Spriggan named Hunter. Team B takes them head on, and Team A keeps going. Eventually they reach the end of the Orange Desert, but are halted by a giant sandworm. It's known as Zusorm, one of the 5 titans of Zuso. They are able to defeat it easily with their teamwork, and they keep going. Once they reach Zuso Castle ruins, they run into another one of the 5 titans. It's a giant wolf named Carnaros. Spirit decides to fight it alone while Atka and Gear continue onwards. Eventually the 2 split up. Atka goes into the Zuso woods, and Gear goes into the Mago Canyon. At the same time, Spirit defeats Carnaros and goes over to Zuso Fields. Then Spirit finally sees the Sky Temple and begins to fly up to it. While he's doing that, Gear's exploring the canyon, and Atka's exploring the forest. They're all interrupted by another of the 5 titans of Zuso. Spirit fights the giant bird Hawkus, Gear fights the giant rock scorpion Scorpionix, and Atka fights the giant gorilla Guarilne. All 3 of the remaining beasts are slain, and now Spirit makes it to the temple. Soon after, Gear makes it to the Earth Temple, and Atka makes it to the Forest Temple. They explore the dungeons until they finally reach the end where the piece of the key lies. For each of them, however, there was already a Spriggan waiting inside. They heard of Team A's mission thanks to Hunter, so they sent a Spriggan to each of the 3 temples to retrieve the 3 key pieces and defeat the 3 of them. In the Sky Temple, Spirit fights Boku, a user of chain magic, a type of magic that can physically grab and hold the opponent, similar to what Phantor did to Atka and Roshan way back in the day. In the Earth Temple, Gear fights Alcest, a user of alchemy, a form of lost magic. In the Forest Temple, Active fights Firay, a user of siphoning, a form of dark magic that can completely drain the target of their energy. All of them are very powerful, so these three will be in for quite the tough fight. Meanwhile, Team B is taking down Hunter's squad, so Hunter is the only opponent left there. Now, he reveals his magic to them all. Thanks for watching part 15 of this story. Stay tuned for part 16, where 4 of the 9 Spriggan will join the battle. I'll see you guys then. Happy hunting.